There are a lot of times when animals will amaze you with their unique abilities or even ways they choose to live. Photographers share their pictures and stories so we can see. Stay tuned to find out what happened. You won't believe it when I tell you the most unexpected thing that happens. Before we talk about the fox and the cat, let's start by talking about dogs and cats. The saying goes that they fight like cubs and bears. In general, people have a bad reputation of thinking that cats and dogs are enemies. But is it really true or the exception? Despite the saying dogs and cats aren't really natural-born enemies, but there are a couple of factors that can make their relationship, well, a little complicated. For example, dogs and cats communicate differently. Take the butt sniff greeting dog meets dog. Dog exchange butt sniffs. Dogs are now best butts. Cats, on the other hand, may not respond quite as well to the butt sniff greeting, since it isn't in their natural behavior. Getting their butt sniffed by a dog might prove to be scary, uncomfortable, and most unwelcome for a cat. It may even provoke a fleeing response. When dogs were first domestic, they were trained to hunt small furry animals. So, imagine the scene that a cat greets a dog. Dog sniffs cat's butt. Cat is completely freaked out by this undignified behavior and scoots away. Dog's predatory instinct kicks in and he thinks that he must chase the small furry creature that is escaping. Dog chases cat. Cat becomes even more terrified and a friendship becomes very unlikely. Our family thought it would be a good idea to add to their family by bringing in a little kitten. A great idea. Except they had a pet already. They had a gorgeous golden retriever called Ski. A dog so harmless. Wouldn't hit a fly, or would she? The family brought the tiny kitten's named Euclides home. The kitten was so cute and black with faint stripes etched across her back. The big friendly giant Ski was sat down on the floor, while the owners let Euclides wander in to see how they both react. Euclides immediately raced over to Ski and started cuddling and nudging up beside her until Ski got annoyed at her working on her leg. She opened up her mouth with a snarl and began to grapple at the kitten's body. She never managed to get a good hold of it, but got Euclid's head in her mouth. Was this the beginning of the end for Euclides? The dog let go of her and she nuzzled into her body. Ski must have realized her mistake as she repeatedly began to lick the kitten all over as if to apologize. A coyote and a cat? We tend to think of wild animals as aloof, standoffish, sticking with their own. In reality, that's actually far from the case. Many species have relationships that benefit both the parties. Having a coyote as a pet can be a bit more complicated than keeping a dog. Coyotes can spread diseases to dogs, such as rabies. They are highly vicious animals. Even when you keep them as pets, for instance, a coyote can eat up your small pets, such as cats or birds. A family had a pet coyote that they had trained and tamed, and recently heard about a stray cat in a rescue center in need of a forever home. Mixing a coyote with a cat is a brave decision. Coyotes certainly can kill cats if they wanted to. A predator the size of a large dog, which is basically exactly what a coyote is, can easily overpower a cat. Bad coyote-cat encounters don't occur that often, but they do happen. Cats, especially large aggressive ones, might end up in a confrontation with a coyote. Given their relative sizes, a cat is not likely to win such an encounter. Cats do have the ability to escape, as they are far better climbers, but don't always have the opportunity. Cats are also small enough that a coyote might view them as a possible meal. This especially applies if the coyote is unusually hungry from having lost another food source, or the cat is old, ill, or overweight. It's no wonder then that the family had their initial concerns, and no one would blame them. However, they decided to prove the naysayers wrong and believed in how far their pet coyote had come along. So they went ahead and rescued the tiny cat. Were they making the right choice? The day had come to pick up the new member of the family. Everyone was nervous yet excited. The family arrived to the shelter and the cat was just as small and cuddly as they remembered. They immediately bundled her in blankets and placed her gently in their car for the drive home. The family placed their coyote and cat in different sides of the living room. They weren't sure what to expect, so thought if it all works out, they'd want to remember this moment, and so they began to document the encounter. The cat stood in the middle of the floor, standing her ground and showing she can't be messed with, while the coyote immediately raced towards her, sniffed her, and tackled her onto the ground in sheer seconds. The family stood there aghast at what they had witnessed. Did they make a mistake introducing them so soon? The cat showed the coyote that she wasn't to be messed with. She might be smaller, but she wasn't about to let that get in the way. She clawed at his face with her long, sharp nails. As she clawed at him, he stood up and, with her being in the middle, ran around her while she looked on. He then ran up to her when her back was turned and gave her a little nudge on her bum with a wide-eyed grin covering his mouth. The cat looked on in wonder. He ran around in a circle and proceeded to flop down, with the cat rushing over and peeing on him ninja style. The pair started wrestling with the coyote, always lying down when the cat went for his face. The cat saw his eyes turned away and decided it was her chance to win the crown of the household. She leaped towards his face with him, easily taking her down. The coyote shot towards the camera with a big grin edged onto himself. His owner gave him cuddles, before a loud bang jolted the cat upwards with them. Both carrying on their fight, they started rolling around onto the floor and only stopped for short breaks to take a breath and kept tossing each other around. Before we move on to our last story, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon on. A fox and a cat. Foxes are beautiful animals and don't pose a massive threat to humans, but they can often attack other animals. Stay tuned to find out what happened when this fox is about to eat a cat. But then the most unexpected thing happened. It's not so unusual to see a fox, although they are known to show up in the most unlikely of places. They are generally pretty harmless animals and run away as fast as they can. When they see a human, however, when they encounter other animals, anything can happen. Foxes eat what they come across, and if they happen to make an effort, then they'll be successful. In November 2012, in Lake Venturkey, a photographer was out for a lovely stroll on the beach, admiring the scenery and taking photos of the breathtaking landscape. When he noticed something out of the corner of his eye, as he got close, he realized that it was a fox fighting something. The man walked closer and saw that it was a cat that the fox was fighting with. He captured photos of the big fight. Then, as the fight progressed, he managed to capture an unbelievable moment. It was one that made his heart race and jump into his throat, as it looked like the fox was about to kill the furry feline. Suddenly, the fox opened its jaw wide enough, with the cat's head practically in its mouth. Foxes have a much greater biting power than a cat. The onlookers all gasped in disbelief as they held their breath. They were glued to the scene unfolding in front. Was the cat's life about to be roused away in a heartbeat? Something strange happened. The photographer realized that the fox wasn't going in for the kill. The pair were just fighting with each other. The photographer continued to watch the scene unfold with the unusual friends while they wrestled around. The man was so awestruck at what he had encountered that he decided to watch them play around while they captured amazing photos of the pair as they enjoyed their own company. He posted his photos of the fox and cat onto social media, where it quickly went viral, with many people pleasantly surprised at their unique friendship. The man later found out that the fox and cat always play and eat together. It's highly unusual to find a fox and cat playing together in harmony. Foxes are generally indifferent to cats. They usually meet many times every night and invariably ignore each other. Some cat owners worry that their darling pets will fall victim to a fox attack. However, although it's not unheard of for a fox to attack a cat, it's actually extremely rare for them to do so. On the occasions they do come into contact with each other, the results are often not what you might expect. A fight between a fox and a cat usually makes the fox come off worse. Foxes are generally quiet and timid creatures, and the offensive displays of cats seems to intimidate them. Foxes, however, do have a bad reputation when it comes to poultry and rodents. A fox can spot an easy meal and become single-minded. Foxes don't represent a danger to household pets like cats or dogs. They are more at risk for humans, with them being demonized in some corners of the world, especially the UK, where fox hunting is a very controversial issue. Some people argue that fox hunting by pursuing a fox on horseback with a pack of dogs gathered around should be legalized. However, it's still very much forbidden to shoot beautiful yet dangerous animals. These two wild animals, the ginger fox and the furry white cat, represent a fundamental lesson that everyone should take heed. It doesn't matter where you come from, because love is a universal language and it knows no bounds. What would you do if you saw a wild animal going near a household one? Tell us in the comments below. We love hearing what you have to say. See you next time.